Hey everyone, it's Kenton Becker with American Pacific Mortgage, and I'm here with a tip for you that's kind of timely for the home season that we're in. Right now we're in a pretty extreme seller's market. As I've been talking with some of my realtor partners that I've been working with over the years, I've kind of asked them, what are some tips, what are some things that they would recommend to get your offer accepted in this market? One thing I want to point out is that the markets can change. 6 months from now, a year from now, we might be in a completely different market. But at this moment, with it being a seller's market, here's a couple things you can do to make sure your offer is getting accepted. Number one, offer full price. And in most cases, you're going to have to offer maybe even a little bit more over the house list price. So the thing you have to understand is that just because the seller lists their home for sale at a certain price doesn't necessarily mean that's the price it should go for. It's really more about what are you willing to pay for that home. I've heard some agents say that in this market you have to offer 5% over list price, 10% over list price even. It really depends on the house. What are you willing to pay for it? And at the end of the day, what do you think that the home will support for the value as well? Now, another thing that you can do is to make sure you provide proof of funds or proof of financing. This is something that gets me involved as a loan officer. I'm usually able to reach out to the listing agent, let them know that the borrowers have provided me full access to their accounts as far as their assets, verifying assets. We have proof of financing as well, so we'll provide pre-approval letters. Many times right now, I'm getting a full underwriter approval done as well. If we can get the underwriter's approval also, it's just gonna make that file, that offer even stronger to the seller. We're taking those extra steps to show the seller that you're serious about their home. Another thing that you wanna do is limit contingencies within your comfort level. Now, there's different contingencies when you put in an offer. There might be an appraisal contingency, a financing contingency, an inspection contingency, amongst other things. We're finding that a lot of our buyers are waiving certain contingencies within their comfort level. They might waive their inspection contingency because they look at the house, or maybe they've done a pre-review of the home or pre-inspection of the home and have decided that they're not going to ask for the seller to fix anything. So there's no reason to have that inspection contingency in place. The best thing to do is talk with your agent about what you would be comfortable with. If you're comfortable waiving contingencies, it can make your offer a lot stronger to the seller. Next thing I want to point out is you got to be willing to buy the home as is. Going in and asking the seller to fix things, to repair things, is probably not going to win your offer in this market. Now, one strategy that an agent I've worked with uses is to use home warranties as a way of getting things fixed down the road. Let's say that you waive your inspection and you're not asking the seller to fix anything. Well, what happens if something goes out on the home? What happens if the furnace goes out because there was something wrong with it? Yeah, those are things that can happen, but if you get a home warranty, a lot of times that home warranty will fix those things within that first year and take care of some of those maybe things that you're concerned about in the first year of ownership. Fifth and final thing that I want to point out to get your offer accepted is limit what you're asking for. So do you need closing costs? You might want to limit asking the seller for those things. Again, going back to fixing things, do you want them to fix things? You need to limit what you're asking for. So anything that you're asking the seller to do above and beyond the offer is going to make your offer look a little less strong. It's not as strong anymore. If you need closing costs covered by the seller, there's definitely ways that you can work that into your offer. You don't necessarily have to ask the seller to cover your closing costs out of their pocket. We're not in a market right now where you can kind of nickel and dime the seller and go back and forth with the seller to get things covered. It's just not what we're in. We may get there in the future. It may flip from a seller's market to a buyer's market. But in this market, these are some of the 5 things that maybe you need to do. As your lender, I would be doing things a little bit more aggressive to make sure your offer is getting accepted. So much for joining me on this tip. Comment below if you have any questions. Reach out to me if you have any questions. We'd love to help you out if we can. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.